Okay, hello. Hello, everyone. We are here. It is, I'm on the East Coast. It's 2 o'clock my time, which means the sun is starting to set. But that's okay. You know, I'm basking in these rays from this live stream, and I'm on like my fourth cup of coffee. So I am we're midday, we're doing good. New year, new us. Yeah, so I think let's get
go.
started.
Let's go. I'll get everyone screaming in here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm on cup two. Although I'm 3 hours behind you, so you know I gotta catch up.
Exactly. Yeah, I think to start, what is new this week?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we got our crew here today. We got Tomek Jawan. So yeah, let's dig in. I mean, it's been this week. Our team is largely all back in office, and so the StackBlitz Bolt product and engineering machine is in full operation, full swing, and yeah, we're hitting the ground running. And so I think and first of all, great to see everyone tuning in. Hello, everyone in the chat. It's we love coming back every week and getting to chat with you all. I know this is a nice shirt, right? I mean, this is sick. So this is if you work at StackBlitz Inc., this was the Christmas or part of the Christmas gift this year. These things are done. This is like not just like some like thing that was printed on. Like this is like it's like 3D. You know, if you kind of look at it, which is like pretty dope, very comfortable. Anyway, so yeah, I think coming back to last week's office hours, we kind of talked about like at a high level, what our focus, this quarter and certainly just the weeks ahead of us here, what our focus is, and a lot of it, certainly in the right here and now, is taking all the feedback you all have been giving us, on Twitter and Reddit and in our GitHub issue tracker, et cetera, and where to improve the product experience itself, like just from the UI, the UX, et cetera. And also just largely improving the agent and making the experience of building apps with Bolt even more seamless and making it really smart. So you're running into like less errors and it just follows your instructions more accurately and things of that nature. We've got some bigger stuff also that is cooking that'll be coming out over the coming weeks and next month or two here. But yeah, our team's gotten quickly to work, and we've shipped a couple of things already just in the past week here, and we just shipped something today, unannounced. We're going to talk about first time live on stream here, and so maybe we can kind of kick off. And Tomek, maybe you can pull up your screen and walk through a couple of the main things that we shipped here.
Yes, sir, and hello everyone. Go. So let's do it. Let me share my screen. And actually for this one, I have to share the whole screen. Okay, so the big one, if you can now see my screen, is that you now have this nice little button that is a super powerful button for multiple reasons. And I want to show some of those reasons. It allows you to open the preview project in a new page. You might see this message initially, which is explained here, but after clicking the button, you get this your app in a new window. So basically the same exact thing that you see here in the embedded preview, you can now see in the new tab, which of course can become a new window, which immediately gives one big benefit, which is that you can then move that window to a separate screen, for example, have a multi-screen setup. You can even open several of these windows at the same time. In fact, it actually doesn't close this embedded preview. So you might already have like a responsive design setup. You have like the wider screen on a separate display and the smaller screen. And if I now make a change, let's make the button green. What is really cool is that the change, yes, the bigger display or the more displays, the better the benefits. So you can see this is the change is being updated on both screens or on more of these if you have them. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit is that this is technically running in an iframe, so it's a part of this Bolt app, and it's kind of hard, almost pretty much impossible to target this part of the page, which is important when you're doing authorization flows. So oftentimes when you have, for example, authorizing with Google, this Google button or social buttons, you get that redirected to a Google login page, and then that Google login page goes back to your app, or tries to, because if your app lives here inside of the Bolt app, that's pretty much impossible. Now, if your app instead has its own URL, that URL can be configured as the return URL from the authentication page. So that way you can try your you can test, experiment with your OAuth solutions even before deploying the app. That's the second benefit, if I'm counting correctly. The next one is more for if you like to double in behind this. Yes, Stripe. Yeah, Don Vito, as always, the reverse. That works great with Stripe, which would have otherwise been blocked in the iframe or in the embedded preview. One thing that I'm very excited about is that, oh, Joan, so we're at count 5. It also allows you to embed YouTube videos without them being blocked.
I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish. But
okay. You have more. Okay. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm getting nerds by other nerds here. But basically, if you wanted to see at how this button is being interpreted by the browser, you could use DevTools, and there's even like this button here that allows you to track this. But this is super complex. This is not your app. It's actually the whole Bolt app. And your app is just like this little piece here. Additionally, if you wanted to look at the network, what is being fetched by your app or what is being sent from your app, which often happens if you're using like external APIs, maybe something went wrong. A lot of these requests that are visible here. Let me open a separate window. I don't want to mess with this app, but normally, if you have the network pane open, there will be like tons of chatter here, tons of requests that Bolt itself is making to save your state, to request the AI back and forth and things like that. While you as an app developer, you're interested in only what your app is sending. So if you open in a separate tab, if you even refresh the page, you can see there is nothing.
Click the alt toggle.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
This also only shows what the app itself consists of. And if we go into like what the app is connecting with, so this is like basically for the API requests, there is 0 requests here. Only when I click it, there's a single one request. And if I'm not doing anything in this app, there won't be anything else. Otherwise, in Bolt, whenever you post something in chat, there will be like 3 or 5 requests. So this is useful because you can see like what comes back from the API, or you might see some error here that allows you to figure out maybe what's wrong or tell Bolt what's wrong. Again, back to this part that shows you the structure of your app. this is basically it. That's the whole app now. There is not like the rest of the forest that is the Bolt application. So that's the one that I'm probably mostly as a like developer, as a nerd here, excited for. But do we have any other things that this solves?
I mean, I think even as a non-developer, I mean, this is pretty important, right? And also, yeah, shout out to Juan for shipping this, because that's this has been a big thing, I think, since the get-go of like Bolt going online. Is folks are trying to build like real apps, which require Stripe for payments, or they want to embed a YouTube video, or they want to have authentication with Google that does the OAuth callback, needs a URL to go to. And for those that are like tuning in that aren't super familiar with like kind of how the tech under the hood of StackBlitz works, when you're developing or StackBlitz and Bolt, I should say, when you're developing on Bolt under the hood, there's not like some cloud VM that's like spun up for you, which is great because it's like it's lower cost, there's no latency, etc. But this update, before this update, there wasn't really a way for authorization or Stripe or these things to work in a seamless way as part of the dev experience. And so shipping this just unlocks like real business use cases. And like, you can build way more complex and real world types of things with Bolt now. And so there's really not any, one of the misconceptions I've seen is folks, because we didn't have the ability to open in a new tab and which would enable these various things. Folks were like, oh, like you need a cloud VM to do these things, or this is just like a limitation of Bolt. It's like, no, actually, it's not. Like we needed to have this capability so you can open it up in a new window, etc. So I think it's a really important thing that's gotten landed here. And I think too, as you're using this, going forward to build actually real products, an important consideration is security. So when you are actually dealing with Stripe trends, even in a dev environment, this is actually a very common vector of supply chain attacks that happen. Is they actually target your dev environment, which Bolt.new is considered one of these, because typically they are less secure. And so if that's actually running on a cloud VM, it has unfettered access to the internet, everything that's on that box, etc. Completely programmable. There's not really any meaningful restrictions on it. Whereas in your browser, it's completely sandboxed to your browser, can't break out to the rest of your machine, has limited access to making outbound requests and whatever have you. So using Bolt is actually the most secure way to write code when you're dealing with payments or auth or whatever have you, compared to local environments and cloud dev environments, right? Because it's just an important thing that like you might not think about, right, as you're developing stuff, but like you're dealing with money and customer data. And so that is why we built the underlying web container technology that like powers Bolt. It's like better performance, better cost structure and better security, right? All in one shot. So anyways, I think that's like, things that are maybe not as obvious that I just wanted to speak to real quick on that end of things. But yeah, this is sick. I'm so glad this landed, because I also have a 49-inch screen, and this is much needed. So let's go.
Okay, and we have, I'm hearing we have an incoming update that just went live, and we can show it.
Let's see it.
Okay. So this thing, we have a title here, and this title is what appears then in your chat's history. So even for your own sake, especially if you like experimenting with Bolt a lot and you have like dozens and dozens of Bolt projects, it's cool to make this something meaningful. Before this hour, what you had to do is to open in its StackBlitz and then edit it and then go back to Bolt. Now you can click this options drop down here and change the title right here. So this is the first time I'm actually doing this on the production. So, and Let's try it then. So
let's see how well we tested this.
Demo. Let's do an emoji.
Oh God. Hey,
it works.
Thank God.
Yes. So that's it. That's the second update. I don't think there will be like 5 useful use cases for this one, but this specific thing, yeah. If you want to have this good for looking nice for demoing purposes, like I do for the tutorials and demos on Twitter, or to have this nicely implemented in the projects list, you can now change it here. That's
awesome. Yeah, I think, and it's kind of interesting, this is when we originally built Bolt, y'all, like we had actually, Tom, pull up your screen again, like show them, pull up the Stack Blitz project. And for people that are familiar with all this is nothing new, but I mean, so because we still have people that like tweeted us and they're like, why can't I edit my project title and just kind of basic functionality like that. And the main reason is like when we launched Bolt, we had no idea that Bolt would really become the main way people the main product actually really that we offer just by usage. And so if you pop up in the Stack Blitz link, Tomek, just to like we can kind of point at a couple of the other things that maybe are useful here, but like in Stack Blitz, we have all of the we have just an incredible amount of capabilities. Like we've built the Stack Blitz, the IDE that we're looking at here has been around since like 2017. And so there's just a ton of functionality in here that when we originally built Bolt, we didn't bring it there because we didn't know where the center of gravity would ultimately land. And now we know. Bolt is the most used product by no small margin that we offer. And so a lot of the functionality you see in Bolt, or so you see in Stack Blitz, like the ability to edit the titles, even editing project visibility. That was something we on launch day didn't have in Bolt, and then we brought that over. But you kind of look at the functionality in Stack Blitz, and a lot of the stuff we're going to be bringing directly back into the Bolt product, and we are making quick work of getting a lot of this stuff landed. But anyways, in general, it's like if you're kind of looking for something, if you're like, hey, I want to edit this setting, or have autocomplete in the editor and things like that, try opening it in Stack Blitz because we do have that functionality there. And if you want to see that in Bolt, let us know, because we're making a list of the things that hey, this should actually just be natively into Bolt versus having to open up Stack Blitz to go and do that, right? So yeah, anyways, that's just want to kind of call that out. Like this is kind of a ongoing work stream for us, and there's Stack Blitz is a very powerful tool if you're going to really go and make fine-grained code edits and dig into the code base. But a lot of stuff in here that we're going to be bringing back to Bolt itself.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
So I think that was the second demo. I think do we have anything else on that front? I think that's it. One more sorry, one more benefit of opening in new tab. I just remembered. This is also useful when you're editing the title. Usually when you're working on an app and you deploy it, and then when you deploy it, you end up with something like React plus Vite plus TS. And it's like, oh, come on, this is not the greatest name for my app, right? Plus the favicon is which is the icon that appears here. Normally something like this thing, or like the Bolt icon. It's like random or something like the generic default icon. So when you ask Bolt to update the title or to use a new image as a favicon, it will also automatically appear here. Let's test it actually. Change the page title to super app. And it's super app here. So very small, but very useful improvement for pretty much every app. So that's the number.
Good call. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's a small thing, but it's like, it's an important one, right? In general, it's like when you're building an app and you're ready to go to production, it's like having it stand alone in its own browser window is it's the best way to test, right? Because that's what it's going to appear exactly like, including the browser's Chrome. So yeah, love it. Okay, and I think we have one final thing that we announced. I can't remember if we announced this before office hours last week or after, but one of the main things we've been working on, like I mentioned at the beginning here, has been just making the AI agent smarter and better at following instructions and less errors. And so we shipped something last week on this end, and then we've got a couple of updates on things that are landing this week, and probably into next week, I imagine. But so maybe we can pull up the Twitter post on the context handling one. We can kind of kick off there.
On it. Yep. So that's.
You're the driver, the dedicated demo driver today.
All right.
Okay. Pull this thing up. Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, I'd be curious for either Joan or Sam to give a little extra context, but on exactly how this kind of improved things. But in general, it's like, I think at a high level, this is making the specific change we rolled out here makes the agent more attentive to what you are asking and better at actually going and resolving the errors and following your specific instructions. And so I'm kind of curious, like, Joan, I'll hand it over to you. Like, I'm kind of curious to hear like a bit more of the under the hood of like what's going on here, how stuff got improved.
Yeah, so I think one thing that the model would be sometimes confused about is that inside your conversation, it wouldn't really exactly know which message you sent and would kind of squash them all together. And so now you understand better what actually happened. So it gives better context in understanding what you were asking before and what your new ask. And so it's not going to try to do something you've asked previously. At least it's gonna be better at it. Another thing, we also shipped a tiny fix. I think this was today, regarding laziness. So that's an error that a lot of you have come across, where the model will start saying things like, "Oh, previous import stays the same," or "Previous existing code stays the same." And so this tiny change to the prompt improved a little bit, but we also have more. I'm kind of overstepping.
Quiet, Joan, quiet. The secret plan, dude, the secret roadmap of what's happening in the next day or two or whatever. No, I love it. But yeah, so this is there's going to be, I mean, there's dozens of things, because to make these amazing magic experiences with AI agents, it's a lot of long tail problems. Sometimes you'll have things that are like very effective, that are just single-handedly big needle movers, but a lot of it is you're solving a lot of very small things, over a longer period of time. And so, and we one of the benefits of Bolt being, one of the top used AI products right now is that we can look at the data and go, okay, where are folks running into issues, and really pluck out, high value things for us to go and improve and make the experience just like slippery smooth. And so to that end, maybe we can talk about a couple of things that are going to be landing this week, for improving stuff. Oh yeah, go ahead, Tomek.
One thing I wanted to give some maybe examples on this context thing. Go ahead. How this, as you mentioned, a lot of these improvements are like kind of gradual. In a sense, I would say it's almost like a statistical, like some things that appear like often, annoying things that appeared often, then now will happen less often. Some are eliminated totally. And this context thing, for example, one thing that LLM, when it gets information about user wanting to deploy the project, then that information is like kind of was kept in the context. And so that meant that when another message or like 2 messages later, might still like get and try to evaluate that information in a sense. So that would make it deploy and deploy and deploy, even though you haven't asked about it. So with this update, it better understands what the user actually asked in this specific message versus. So that's what the context improvement in that sense means, that it knows that that's already in the like outside of what user wants.
Well, that's a great explanation. Like that was more than I actually was aware. Let's go. Good stuff. And I think so we're on our end, right, where to kick off. So we got a couple of things as far as like, you know, in the theme of like improving the agent, we got a couple of key things that are going to be coming out. So this is kind of a sneak peek. So we're going to be announcing these over the next couple of days. But there's a couple of different classes of errors that have been pretty common that folks will run into, that we've got pretty sophisticated, effective solutions rolling out for. So I think maybe let's start with using icons and things like that. I feel like that's probably a good one to start with. So, you know, one of the challenges with pulling in using arbitrary third-party packages, like when you go to Bolt and you say, hey, go and make me an app, you know, Bolt's going to go and find different styling libraries, different icon libraries to use for icons, etc. And when you kind of look at like those libraries themselves, they're massive. I mean, there's lots of, I mean, just in an icon library, there's like thousands of possible icons. So a common problem that LLMs will run into is like they'll hallucinate, you know, in the case of icons, they'll just hallucinate icons that don't exist. And it's like, you might have seen this error where it's like, hey, this icon doesn't exist in Lucid, React, or whatever icon library. So one of the things that, you know, icons are a pretty common thing. And because, again, there's so many icons you could choose from, it's a common place where things will get hallucinated. Our folks have gone and actually done some work to ensure that icons are always, you know, are never hallucinated effectively. So maybe, Joan, you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the idea is that we're gonna have an autofix, so done entirely inside your page, where if we detect that some icons don't exist, we're gonna try to return the closest match. And from your perspective, you're not gonna spend any more tokens, and it's just gonna be seamless. You don't have to do anything. I think we might show an indication. I actually don't remember, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, essentially you're just gonna start using Bolt, and icons problem will hopefully be gone.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, I've tested it. They are gone. But yeah, it's a very effective solution. It doesn't, you know, again, like what the key thing that Joan mentioned there is that it doesn't require any additional tokens. So this is something where you would normally hit the fix error button or whatever, and it would cost tokens for it to go and figure out what icons to use or whatever have you. And now it automatically will detect it before the code's even written. It'll automatically find an appropriate icon and just do it without having to actually use any additional tokens. So this is that's a big one. So we're gonna be rolling out that, I think, and that one's like that might be rolling out like today or tomorrow or something, I want to say.
I think it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the nice thing is that there's a lot of these updates are things that you'll just never notice because there's just less errors that are popping up, right? Another one that's in this category is, I don't know if y'all have ever ran into the bug where it's like there's no default export for app, you know. Same sort of deal. It's like, you know, it's very very detectable, you know, and so we're automatically just like capturing that and just, you know, automatically transforming the code to have a default export, etc. And so it's really nice because it just goes and automatically will fix the error, without you having to hit fix error or spend more tokens or whatever have you. So those are kind of two. I think those are the two like main ones that are landing like this week that are kind of under the hood sort of things that you won't notice. There's one more, and I want to speak to this one, with a bit more airtime, just because it's one that's affected a lot of people, I think. But I'm sure, and I think someone had just posted this in the chat. So let me find this. So I don't know if anyone has seen this sort of thing where like you're chatting with Bolt and it's it's working. Your app's got maybe a reasonably large, and then you ask it to make a change, and it starts writing the code. And then it'll like write code, and then it'll like add a code comment that says, okay, rest of this thing here, and then it'll write some more code and it'll say rest of this thing here. But the problem is, obviously, the rest of that thing isn't there. It's like omitting code, and so this is a common problem with LLMs where they it's called like lazy. The models get lazy and they don't want to write out the full code. And so this is just generally a problem. With frontier LLMs at this point. And if you use diff mode, by the way, it's very infrequently will you run into this specific issue. It can happen though if you're doing larger edits. But one of the things that we're rolling out this week, and I mentioned this online, and so I just want to speak officially to it. Like we're rolling out a change that automatically takes care of if the model gets lazy, we'll actually go and fix the file and add in the appropriate context of that file automatically without you having to do anything. And so we're pretty stoked about this because it's, this is just one of the biggest problems with LLMs in general. And one of the biggest pain points, I think, for you all that when you've been building, it's like, okay, this thing screwed up and, you hit the fix error button, but the LLM still doesn't want to give back the full file or whatever. We've effectively kind of eliminated this problem. We're going to roll it out and see how effective it is, but we're expecting this to be, an order of magnitude better at solving, the model laziness issues that folks have been running into. So that's I'm excited to get that one online because it's been one of the more painful things that folks can run into. So I don't know if anyone else on the team has more to add on that, but yeah, I'm personally very excited to see that one ship. So I'm with Gabe on this. Let's go. Good stuff. See do we have any questions in the chat, by the way? We can pull those up.
Yeah, we had a couple come in here. This is what I want to start with.
Yes. Yeah, it does. I think you can, there's kind of two different routes. So using, I think, like Stripe payment links, which is like, I think honestly a very simple place to start for doing an integration. That works today. And like with the open a new window stuff, you can completely do entire Stripe integration workflows now with Bolt. We've got some more stuff like turnkey Stripe integration coming here. So you stay tuned for that. But yeah, that works today.
Just one thing I wanted to add regarding Stripe is Stripe Elements. If you've ever used the Stripe Elements library from Stripe, basically what it lets you customize entirely how users enter the payment details, and that was not working inside the preview window that's embedded. But if you open that in a separate tab, now that's going to render. You no longer need to deploy to see that. So that's also another improvement. Did you mention it actually, Tomek? I forgot.
No, we mentioned YouTube, but basically, okay. The general use case is that some services don't allow using them inside of an app that is in the iframe. So when you have an embedded preview, they might not work, and you might get this like gray rectangle. This happens with YouTube, and this happens with Stripe Elements, and with probably several other. Definitely with several other services, and that is solved.
Any news on uploading files directly?
Do we support dragging and dropping files into the files pane right now? I thought we did.
Yeah, we do. But
Yes.
I think this request is so that you start from the files you've just imported. Because I think Bolt DIY support that.
Like from a zip file or something.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we should. I mean, it's we have the technology. Like I feel like that's
honestly, I think the easiest way to do it will probably using Styleless SDK. Like we could do it right now, even have a page when you just and like without even adding everything. But we should have a better way when you just do it with the initial prompt.
Totally.
For now, if you do have the app like this, I think the easiest way it would be to push it to GitHub or drag and drop it into GitHub and then open it from GitHub. And you can DM me too.
Or on StackBlitz. I mean, because you can go to StackBlitz and just like open a project and try to either way. But yeah, I mean, it strikes me. I think it's like opening up a zip file. It strikes me as like we should totally like land that because like that would be not crazy hard to implement. So, all right, that's officially going on the roadmap. I assume that's what you were talking about, Mauricio. If not, like go in the chat and say, no, don't do that, but cool. I love it. I think it's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. The chat's going wild. Oh my good Lord. Is opening web container coming to the web container API? Yeah, good question. I don't know what Bolt itself is using the web container API, and so we instrumented it to do this. And I imagine, Joan, go ahead and speak to it because I imagine that the answer is it's a priority question thing for us because like to release it, we have to support it and da 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 da. But is there more to it than that?
No, I think it's basically what you said. Like we also need to agree if we want to stabilize the API, but honestly, I think it's not more like a technical issue. It's more like a when do we do it? And Bolt is the first user of that, and it's literally one of the biggest stress testers of the Web Container API. So I think we can probably roll it out for everyone. Yeah, one thing I have in mind is I think if you know about the Svelte framework, they've got an amazing tutorial that they made using the Web Container API. They actually pioneered the Web Container API thanks to that, which is just amazing. And I think for them it would be really cool as well to finally be able to open the Svelte preview in a separate tab, because I remember it was one of the first feature requests that they sent our way. But yeah, it took some time to get there, but we now can support it for any user of the Web Container API, not just Bolt. It's really not specific to Bolt.
Totally. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it'd be great for us to get that out there, so folks can start integrate. Because I know the Svelte Kit folks on their the learn.svelte.dev thing. They've been asking for this for a while. But
general Kit folks might ask for it too.
Squirrel. Yeah. I think it's like a something that'll be extremely useful for everyone. But heck yeah. Okay, so there's a couple of other questions that popped up here. They really tell Bolt to ignore files, etc. Yeah, so this is we're working on this and something kind of related, like where Bolt is just intelligent and can just like ignore files on demand too. So it's like depending on like what you're working on the request, like it'll just start kind of pruning out as much as it can out of the context window, right? So yes, like this is we're working on this for sure. Like this is coming, both for the ability to like manually do it and for Bolt to take the wheel and take it over, etc. So that is definitely on the way. But we also be able to preview URLs on another system because currently we can't. Yeah, this is another one that we're working on. So I don't want to spoil the surprise, but yes, this is very much coming. And it's gonna be pretty sweet. There's some other capabilities that are going to be enabled with this one.
Yeah, it'll be another like 7 list of cool things that comes with this one small thing, right?
yeah, totally. So it's
exciting.
there's a lot of there's a couple things in particular I'm excited about as a result of this one. And I'd love to talk about, but I want it to be a surprise, so I'll hold it. But yes, this is absolutely coming. Okay.
Dips on this one. We have something that like we internally at least call the StackBlitz Labs, and we do like some small experiments within this. So I can answer this question with a screen share. So basically, what the question, if I understand correctly, is about thing like this that would allow you to basically pick a part of your screen and consider it in the Bolt prompt in a way that is still TBD. Maybe you want to only use that part of the screen or ask about the part.
Put that back up there. This is the first time I'm seeing this. Wait, so is this real? Like, is this a fake demo?
No, this is actually what one of our engineers is working on.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I know that this is Mohammed who's working on this, right?
Yep. So currently with this MVP, it's, as you can see, it took the actual HTML that is being displayed and also made a screenshot of it. So you'll be able to say, there's something wrong with this thing. Look, Bolt, it looks wrong.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
This is coming.
That is so crazy.
Cool.
Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome. I didn't realize that it was that advanced. I love how move the mouse around a little more. I mean, that's like, man, that's smooth. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and so fast too.
Yeah.
Does it work in a separate tab? No, right?
No, I would imagine. I suppose it could.
Well,
it could. Yeah.
It could, but now there is no way probably to trigger it even. Because
I need to do some option plus click or something, or command click or control click or something to enable it.
Yeah, and then communicate with the exactly. So we have the proof of concept is really farther. So now we're figuring out the UX around it.
Yeah, I love this comment too. This is a sign. I mean, when it's a sign when you're growing a company, and you're growing a team, it's a good sign when you find out on a live stream that something amazing is happening and it's beautiful beyond what you could have imagined. Like it's a sign that you've got a great team of folks working hard on stuff. So anyways, that just made my day. I mean, hot dang, this is that's gonna be an incredible feature, and that's for a rough MVP. That's not very rough. That's beautiful. So I was stoked to see that ship. Hot dang.
Thanks for the question, Dean. I was waiting for the opportunity.
Yep. Love it. Okay. What other questions we got? That is a really good question. Yeah, I think we could certainly add it, and I think it would probably be helpful for folks to see how much each message is taken, and it might be interesting to have analytics where you can break down how much of the request was what actually the input versus output and that sort of thing. I like the idea. I think it'd be cool. Maybe on every message you kind of there's 3 dots and you can kind of pull up specific info about it or whatever. I like the idea a lot. That's cool. Yes, a temp fix will ever be completely free to use. Yeah, so we're actually working on this right now. Our from a product and engineering scoping perspective, we're working on this. And I guess I don't have any like tangible updates on when exactly this is landing, but I mean this is one of the things that's in the docket over the next couple of weeks that we're going to get landed. But it's actually part of a broader effort from our end to make the AI really effective at solving errors well. Because like fundamentally, like that's the big issue that LLMs have is just when they're inaccurate, how do they actually like self-heal and like resolve the issue? And so our primary focus is going in, like there's a lot of improvements to be done just on that end. And then there's the question of, okay, then how do you from a cost perspective, how do you, because it fundamentally it costs money for like when you attempt fix, whether now or a month from now when this is rolled out or whatever, it costs tangible money to actually hit that button. But you effectively what you want to do is, if you want to do it in a reliable way, and because like what other people do that do this, they make the per message price way higher. Like effectively, it's kind of like you're just moving the cheese around, right? But if you do your job right, you can say, okay, well, let's actually make this thing really effective at solving problems, and do it in a way where it can intelligently, in a multi-step sort of process, figure out where to go and investigate and look. And then if it hits an area where it needs help from the end user, it'll ask you to actually provide more context or like debugging information it might not have access to, or et cetera, right? So there's kind of like a holistic end-to-end experience improvement that we're doing on the debugging side. And this is part of it, because like we want it to feel like good to just like, when you hit a temp fix or whatever have you, it's not like, oh God, is this thing going to like, drain my bank account or whatever. But something that's like, okay, actually when you hit that, you're like high confidence, it's actually probably going to go figure it out. And if it can't, it's going to tell you like, hey, here's what I need you to go and do to like maybe get me more information to like go and actually fix the problem, right? So it's, long story short, that's kind of the current work stream we have on this, and is one of the things that we're kicking into motion now. So I'm excited about it. Will be possible to use Firebase for database and Supabase for Stripe connection via Edge. You can use Firebase today, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. I think as far as like a direct integration, certainly we're gonna add Firebase. Stripe connection via Supabase Edge functions, 100%. Like that is actively in flight right now. I think we're actually working with the Supabase team on this. They're adding a couple of APIs for us actually, and I think they've landed a couple of, I think there's 3 main ones we need. I think they've landed like 1 or 2 of them already. And there's a 3rd one that they're landing. And I imagine within the next week that'll be landed. But this is, the next, call it like, earliest would be end of next week, I would guess. But probably the week after, so like end of January, first week of Feb, that strikes me. This is going to be rocking and rolling online would be my, optimistic / realistic guesstimate. And the engineering team is cringing. They're like, dude, what the hell? Why would you say that live on stream? Yes. Thoughts on previewing on mobile, bring in React Native. NativeScript is a bit limited. We love the NativeScript folks, but the React Native ecosystem is very mature, and there's lots of great libraries and stuff to use there. And so I'll say this, the Expo team, that has, Expo is like the most popular, tool chain for building React Native apps. We're working directly with those folks, and we've got some announcements coming on that front soon here. I'm extremely excited about that one because you're going to be able to build full native apps and deploy to the App Store, etc. from Bolt. So it's gonna be cool. I said too much. Okay. Yes. The answer is yes. Short answer is yes. Edit the recording after this. Remove everything I just said. Hell yeah. Okay. What other any other questions we got, or let's see. I'm looking at StackBlitz team. What other updates did we want to talk about, and just to tell folks about so they're aware of what we're working on? I think we had a couple of them. Like we had Supabase Edge functions, that's in flight. I think maybe the other Supabase thing was supporting existing Supabase projects. So you can open up an existing Supabase project and instead of having to spin up a new one. We're actually Supabase is shipping an API for us that'll allow us to do that. And largely because like if we open an existing Supabase project, we want to be able to know everything about it, like the database schema, how authentication set up, etc. There currently aren't APIs that give us the holistic perspective. So we're waiting on the Supabase folks to get us that. But yeah, you'll be able to open up a Supabase project, and then just from the database schema, you can tell Bolt, hey, go build me an app that maps to this map, to what's already in the Supabase, right? So that'll be pretty cool. Cool. Okay. Any other questions, team that are popping up here? Oh, Bolt build off. Oh yeah, Kate, why don't you speak to this one?
I did it to myself. Okay, yes. So we are. Admittedly, Bolt build off is still in the think tank, but we are going to be doing some more live streams with like users and bringing users on. That sort of stuff. So yeah, definitely thinking about a Bolt build off. I will DM you here. But yeah, no, we want to bring on more folks, talk about what you're doing, see how people are, using Bolt, making money with Bolt, all that good stuff. So more to come in the future there. But yeah, stay tuned.
I thought the Bolt build-up idea in particular was super cool. Like Dylan, I think his name's Dylan. He like tweeted at us, right? And it's like bringing on two different builders to like build the same app, and they race each other. I think was the idea, right? I love that idea. That's we should have like a we should add this is the joke, by the way, if the SEC is watching. We should add gambling to the Bolt.news site, where you can bet tokens, you can bet tokens on which Bolt builder is going to finish building the app faster than the other. We're not doing that. We're definitely not doing that. We'll have to move the company to the Cayman Islands or something if we want to get into that, But I think it's a super cool idea. So we're definitely, Dylan, they've mentioned that. I'm excited to see that one come to fruition. Okay, last question here before we start wrapping things up. Any news on the GitHub integration for two-way sync? Thanks, Steve. Steve, yes, thank you for asking. This is in flight. I'm actually sitting down with our product folks in a couple of hours here, and our product engineering folks, and we're going to be speccing this thing out. Work has begun on this, and it's going to be really slick. So you're going to be able to open up existing GitHub repos and push to those repos, or even start new repos, be able to switch branches and all the same sort of Git workflows you're used to. And again, kind of coming back to something we were talking about earlier, we've been building StackBlitz like an online IDE since 2017, and like Git integration is one of the hallmark features of our previous sort of application. And so we have all the technology today to do this, and so we're not starting from zero, on like how to actually implement GitHub and that sort of thing. So I imagine this will be rolling out a lot faster than it would probably normally if we had not been in the business of building cloud IDEs or web IDEs the past 7 years here. So anyways, the short answer, yes, like this is coming, and another one of the big ticket things that's going to be landing this quarter here. So okay, all right, everyone, thanks for all the great questions. And so I think to wrap things up, maybe we'll do some community shout outs and stuff. And one thing I want to mention, and Kate had just said this, is for our office hours going forward, like we're gonna be adding in kind of new types of experience here and bringing other folks onto these, because our goal with these is certainly to kind of share the stuff that our team is working on and how we're making the product better, etc. But you all are shipping incredible things, and really we want to help you all build amazing products and websites and businesses. And what we're shipping is obviously directly translates into the tool that y'all are using to do that. But there's just incredible knowledge that we can all learn from the folks you all that are building with Bolt. And so I think next week we're going to be having a kind of a special session to kind of kick off some new things here, but bringing folks on to actually share their knowledge how to best use the tool and whatever have you. So so stay tuned. Like that's we got some big huge plans for these office hour sessions here going forward. But cool. All right, with that,
I also wanted to mention something before we jump into the next thing. So we had people report that their Bolt project got disconnected from Supabase and they couldn't connect it again. And well, today we got to the bottom of this. Basically, it came down to the fact that your Supabase access token got expired. We refreshed that because we have a refresh token. But then storing that new refresh token and access token actually failed on our side. Now, the problem is the refresh token is now used and cannot be reused again, which means we cannot refresh your token again. So if this happens, you have to disconnect through the settings with Supabase and just reconnect it so it kicks off the auth flow again. So yeah, we are trying to do better error handling here and maybe even tell you what happened so you can manually resolve it. But you can already manually resolve it, but we have to do better to report it to the user.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that was actually something that popped up. I appreciate you looking at that because I think Tristan from the community had flagged that yesterday. So I didn't actually know what the resolution of that was. So that is good to know. So if you're having trouble connecting to Supabase, go to your project settings, disconnect it, and reconnect Supabase, and that should do the trick. Let's go. Hell yeah. All right. Okay, let's do some community spotlights here to wrap things up today. Let's see. Tomek, maybe you can screen share. We got two main ones. It looks like we got a couple of them.
Yep. Sharing the screen. Sharing the screen. The screen is shared.
Great.
Thank you, Tomek. Okay, this is my community pick. This was an article by Colin Matthews in Lenny's newsletter. If you are unfamiliar with Lenny's newsletter, really great resource. A lot of it's more focused on like product stuff, but it's a really thorough article. Just kind of goes through building as a product person, and I believe Colin also has a course that I failed to get the link to that, but he was promoting that. So a course on how to do AI AI with a product. So super cool stuff. Really cool to see in the community. Go and check it out. My next one was another written piece. This was by John. John sent this to me last office hours. He was like, I don't know if you're looking for case studies, but here was just my experience. I thought this was really well written as well. Had kind of some good tips, insights, tricks. He talked a lot about how he used ChatGPT as well as Bolt to kind of soundboard, and I think really kind of highlighted his processes. So super good resource as well. And then this was a tweet. This was a template for digital studios, and I just thought it was really, really nice, really sleek. I think I had the URL in there next to tweet. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, very nice.
Damn.
Oh yeah, this is really. I love this.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Great work.
Looks like a poster almost.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, where did you get the picture? Like, if you're in the chat here, I want to know where you got the picture of that bird because it's really cool.
It definitely anchors the. I mean, and when you scroll, it's like I wouldn't expect that to scroll. You know, it's like it's so well designed that it's like, wow, oh wow, even the scroll has like a nice kind of effect to it there.
parallax effect. No.
Yeah, it's almost like folding out as you scroll it. Like that's, but it's
Yeah.
like subtle. It's not like that. I hate that parallax crap where it's like, you know.
This is one. It's like it's almost like it has some like flex to it, but it's not parallax.
Yeah.
So apparently, the chat saying that's called a European kingfisher. I guess we have some.
Wow.
What's the term? Like an avian enthusiast, isn't? Yeah, right. Like.
Yeah, Audubon Society. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the airspeed of the bird?
It looks fast, right? It looks fast.
Kinda. Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't know that. It also that bird kind of looks like a snack too, though, for like a peregrine or something. But I love it. Okay. So I think this is my pick. So this is really cool. I've got a daughter who's 9 months old, and so this one I thought was super cool. So bedtime story creator, and you come here and you can like make a bedtime story. Oh god, there was this app back in the day, like this is like god over 10 years ago. I think it was called Songza. Does anyone remember Songza? It was like a music app. Okay. Songza was basically, it was like mood-based music. So you would go to Songza and it'd be like, hey, what kind of mood are you in? It's like, and it wouldn't be like, oh, jazz or it would like give you like it's like it would give you options that were like vibes that were kind of based on the time of day. It was like it's like Thursday night. It's like, oh, like kicking up my feet after a long day at work, happy hour vibe or something, right? And you like click that, and it was just it was so good at just kind of like finding music that like fit this, just like vibes basically. Anyways, this kind of reminds me of like songs but for story time, which is awesome. Like. This is, I guess I never really considered that like in the day and age of AI, you can just kind of spawn, kids books on demand, basically. Like that's sick. I don't know. Like I thought that was mind blowing and cool. So anyways, just shout out on this. This is dope.
Okay, and I can wrap up with something that is kind of a tip in the making, but I've been working on this kind of complex calculator app that is supposed to like understand a lot of just human language, translate just different type of currencies and things like that. So for example, it's something like, let's see, do things like this and then like automatically sum it, but already you can see there like it behaves weirdly. It summed this, then it didn't do that. And I tried to build this app since basically we had Bolt early days. And always the UI always looks good. With our further updates, it started looking even better. And I can get a lot of the functionality very far. But if this is like tons and tons of spec on how this is supposed to work, it can be like overwhelming even to keep up with. And as a developers, we would usually like start with a spec, then build some test files, and then do things like that. And I started thinking that maybe that's the way to go with Bolt. So I just like last weekend, I started a different approach to this. And actually I wrote the whole documentation first as in like a markdown file, and then asked Bolt to write unit tests for this whole documentation. So this is granted a bit technical, but I haven't even looked at these tests. Instead, I asked them as a third prompt for Bolt to actually implement that functionality that satisfies these tests. And then I started running these tests, and very quickly I found that some of these tests don't pass. So I started asking Bolt, hey, this test is broken, and then this test is still broken, and now I'm at the point where all the tests are passing, and this is a very complex functionality. So now I have this very stable baseline that is core of this app. This is like the whole reason of this app. And I can go ahead with like being sure building the UI for it. So I think there's something more there. I think we can abstract probably the low level of this unit test, because if you look at this, if you look at actually how tests that don't pass look when they are reported, it looks pretty readable. You know, calculator percentage calculation adds percentage to value. So I think if we had some way to actually show that in the UI, that could be a great way to assure like that the app works and you don't even have to look at this code base. So anyways, if this is super crucial for you, you could start just even asking Bolt. Bolt already knows about it. There is a little bit of knowledge on how to actually run this test, but as you can see, it was just like npm run test in the terminal, so it wasn't that crazy. But yeah,
it's really cool. I mean, this is and this is one of the benefits of Bolt being a full dev environment where you can like edit the code and run arbitrary commands, because it's like it's a great example of like you can go and modify the tooling to actually make the AI better, right, at writing the code. And I think the Builder.io folks, I want to say they have an open source repo or package or something that kind of does this, where they like, I think the key insight they had is like, if you have the LM write tests up front, and then have it go start building the functionality and have it evaluate against the test, it's way more accurate for the output, right? And so I think in general, it's and for us, as you pointed out, Tomek, it's like, okay, how do we integrate that seamlessly? Where, because this is a very technical, for folks that are not developers watching this, you're probably like, what the heck are we talking about here? But actually, like to take a second to explain what testing is in software. Software tests it is software that verifies that the software you're actually making is working properly. and that is important, because as you when you see with Bolt or any other AI tool, as you build it out more and more, it like things get removed, things stop working properly, and you're like, why is it doing that? This is exactly what happens during normal software development with normal humans. Is like, people are working on stuff, something will break, and how are you aware of that before it goes out to production or something? You write software tests that every time you're committing a change, it checks to see, when someone puts in an email and a password to sign up, do they sign up and get redirected to the homepage or whatever? Yes or no? If no, that's a problem. Okay, wait a second. Did a change occur that needs to be fixed before this goes to prod or whatever, right? So taking that concept, applying it to AI software engineering, it makes a ton of sense, and it strikes me as actually it's going to be an important part of how you build really reliable apps, with LLMs and agents, So I think did you put a tweet out about what you were just talking about? I thought I'd seen this before. I didn't like this.
Just today. I worked on it before, but it's my latest tweet, I think. So
cool. Okay, yeah. So go check that out. I mean, I think. And if you all experiment on this end too, and you find like stuff that's very effective and you found success with it, definitely let us know. Because one, we would love to put more spotlight on what you're doing, so other folks can try it out as well. But two is like, we want to see where we can just natively integrate this into Bolt itself. So hey, it's cool stuff. Great tip to end the stream on here. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm excited to see you next week. We got some exciting new folks coming on the stream and etc. But stay tuned. We're gonna be, we got a lot of things rolling out over the next couple of days here that are gonna make the AI a lot more reliable and smarter, etc. So with that, let you all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.